Y'all know what time it is. We gon' set it off tonight. Yes, sir. Set the club on fire. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Crystal Hill, and this past summer I was fortunate enough to have spent 14 days in Costa Rica with several other San Diego State University nursing students. During our time abroad, we stayed with a host family in the outskirts of the country's capital, San Jose. We spent our days during the week volunteering at healthcare facilities, schools, and orphanages. The first week, we worked at a retirement home alongside nurses and physical therapists. We were at the facility from 9 to noon and assisted in various ways. We began our mornings walking with the patients if they were ambulatory and pushing them around outside in their wheelchairs if they were not. We took and recorded their vital signs, changed diapers, and fed patients each day. We also worked with the physical therapy team by performing range of motion exercises with the patients. The facility was ran professionally and had several employees to ensure that each patient had their needs met. There, I learned that, compared to the private senior living homes in the United States, those in Costa Rica are much more affordable for equal quality. In general, retirement care in Costa Rica is about half the price of that in the United States and ranges from $1,000 to $5,000 a month per resident. Throughout our second week in Costa Rica, we spent each day visiting various homes and schools for children. At each location, we performed head-to-toe checkups, which consisted of a vision test, obtaining their height and weight, examining their teeth for cavities, checking the alignment of their spines and lower limbs, and listening to their heart and lungs. During the weekend, we traveled to various locations around the country to enjoy activities such as ziplining and whitewater rafting. In just 14 days, we were able to see both the wealthiest and lowest income areas and immerse ourselves in the Costa Rican culture in a number of ways. We experienced home-cooked traditional Costa Rican dishes, which always included rice and beans, learned how to salsa dance, practiced our Spanish, the typical language spoken in the country, with Costa Rican natives, lived in a traditional Costa Rican house, and used public transportation every day, which is typical for many residents of Costa Rica. I even worked out at a gym early each morning during my time in the host country. One thing I learned while abroad is that standards of living are different depending on where one lives. The amount of money needed to create an acceptable quality of life varies from one society to another. One of the most valuable take-home messages I obtained during my travels is to appreciate what is available to you and realize that many others are far less fortunate. My travel group and I spent a great deal of time providing health checkups for children living in areas of poverty. These children lived in houses made of tin, had little access to nutritious foods or clean water, and faced illnesses that are widespread throughout their communities. Many of the kids we worked with had stomach worms, poor eyesight, irregular heartbeats and rhythms, and significant tooth decay. Despite their poor health and limited access to advanced health services, the majority of the children were upbeat and happy. They served as a reminder that despite how many things may seem off, so to speak, in one's life, there is always someone who has it worse. The most impactful experience I had occurred at a preschool I visited during this second week of my trip. There was a young girl who appeared excessively withdrawn, passive, and shielded away from touch as my peers and I attempted to perform her health exam. Although it was warm outside, she wore a dark, dirty sweatshirt and pants, and her hygiene was poor. In fact, her hair appeared to be damp because of its greasiness. During her exam, we also noticed multiple bruises in various regions of her body, which made my peers and I suspect that she was being abused. While this was extremely sad to see, it felt good to be able to address the situation to the appropriate individuals so that the case could be examined in further depth and action could be taken if the young girl was in fact being abused. This experience was also impactful because it was a reminder that health is much more than just physical health. It is mental and social well-being as well. Although those living in poverty areas typically had poor health, I learned that Costa Rica is a leader of healthcare in Central America. The country has a single national health insurance system that covers the majority of its citizens, as well as a private healthcare system. Healthcare facilities are constantly being upgraded in the country also, and citizens of the United States and Canada often travel to Costa Rica to seek medical treatment. Costa Rica actually has a higher life expectancy than the United States, despite the fact that its per capita income and health expenditure are significantly less. Besides that Costa Rica has a national health insurance program while the United States does not, Costa Rica's higher life expectancy may be related to the fact that in the United States there are significant health disparities related to socioeconomic status, where in Costa Rica such disparities are not nearly as prevalent. In the United States, typically the wealthy have much better health outcomes than the poor. In addition to facts about the healthcare system, I learned that in Costa Rica it is generally safe to eat at restaurants and to drink tap water in the city area. On the other hand, the air quality in San Jose is reduced due to vehicle emissions in nearby volcanoes. Mosquitoes are responsible for virus transmission, which includes the Zika virus, and citizens and visitors are at an increased risk for fungal infections due to the humidity. Studying abroad demonstrated to me just how important maintaining a global perspective is. Being culturally sensitive and understanding the interconnectedness of each world region will enable one to successfully work with those belonging to various cultures and learning from others to make positive change within the world. With a cultural perspective, one can come to understand how healthcare works in various other regions, learn from the examples set, and work with others to create changes that will benefit everyone. When comparing Costa Rica to the United States, there are several similarities and differences aside from what I've already pointed out. In Costa Rica, Spanish is the primary language spoken, whereas in the United States, several languages are spoken. Costa Rica has a wet season, May to November, and a dry season, December to April, whereas here in the United States, we are accustomed to having 4 seasons. As I mentioned before, rice and beans are commonly eaten with every meal in Costa Rica, whereas in the United States, individuals tend to eat a wider variety of foods. However, many of the fast food restaurants that we have here in the United States are also in Costa Rica. From these similarities and differences, one can learn that the standards of living are different everywhere. By maintaining a global perspective, communities around the world can learn from one another's achievements and downfalls and make improvements in various aspects of their cultures. With regard to public health, ways in which death and illness can be prevented at the population level can be discovered, healthy behaviors can be promoted, access to health services can be improved, and health education can become more advanced and widespread. I hope this video provided you with a taste of the unique Costa Rican culture.